All right. So yesterday we talked about theocracies. That's right. And dictatorship. I did assign the dictator presentation, right? Okay. Okay. Did everybody pick the current day dictator? Good, 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 good. So hopefully we get a good start tomorrow, guys. I'm pretty much just gonna let you work on it. And I might review a little bit what we talked about today, and then I'll let you get right into it. Does that work? Yep. And then Friday we'll do a presentation after our current events, which file your event.
Oh, we're presenting.
Yeah. There you go, there you go, there you go. All right. So what's a theocracy? What is that? What is it? So this governmental system, what is a theocracy? Someone help me, please. Anyone? Zara? Okay, good. Right. So when it comes to religion and the government, they're one and the same. So Government officials are religious leaders, and they run the government's policies and laws based off of the religion. And we know not every religion doesn't see, well, the best in other groups or other religions, so it could be problematic. Okay. What example did I give yesterday of a country? Libya, Iran, you have a good job. And they're run by an Islamic regime. And for women especially, they're not treated in a high standard whatsoever. And this is, in many cases, a dictatorship of a theocracy as the religious leader runs the show. So these laws are very strict, and you know anything about the Islamic religion, they do not see kindly of Judaism or Christianity. In many cases, they want to see the death of these religions. So it's very scary to see what they could do if they get their hands on certain weapons and how they mistreat their own people based off of religious ideas. So they go strictly by the Quran, which is their version of like the Christian Bible. Okay. And it's again one of these reasons why our country has separation of church and state, right? Yeah, our foundation is religious, right? When it comes to Christianity, but at the same time, we don't let these policies be dictated by religion, right? Because we try to leave it open for religious practices, right? We're not going to try to judge anybody or right, we're going to restrict anybody based off of the religious background. Does that make sense? You guys got some sodas. Great. Awesome. Glad you guys made a detour. Perfect.
No, I actually.
Yeah. Okay. You feel better?
I had $1.25.
Feel better?
Yeah.
Good. Right. Hey, bell ringer. There it is. Quick. Get it. Quick. Get it. Take a picture of it before we move. Hey, check assignments too, some of you. Some of you didn't do some assignments and your grades are reflecting that. Just to let you know. All right. So anyway, we mentioned Iran. Good example of a theocracy. I don't say good at all, but it is an example of a theocracy of a governmental system. So when it comes to religion, they run the show. Just make sure you guys note that. Yeah, yesterday we talked about a dictatorship. We mentioned about one person having full power, and they control all the means of policy making when it comes to creating a military, funding the military, censorship. You got it. Can you knock it off? Can you hold it together for a little bit? Thanks. All right, here are your terms for today. All right, yesterday we finished up with dictatorship. This is it. All right, here are your terms. We're going to talk about economic theories. Just think about putting an assignment for you, which it's only 10 questions. It reviews these economic theories. And then we're looking towards the end of the chapter. So expect the test next week, either Monday or Tuesday, okay? All right. Parent teacher conferences, that's right, Tuesday, all right, Tuesday. All right, here we go. Capitalism, laissez-faire economics, communism, socialism, mixed market economy, and SECs. There you go. You guys need another minute yet? All right, no problem. All right, so with these terms today, we're gonna go through the lesson. Okay. Real quick though, there's one term that I want to mention, SEZs. What are SEZs? Do you see that? What are they? Xavier, go ahead. Okay, Zara, go ahead.
Special.
Yeah, okay, so when you hear a special economic zone, that means a certain area within a place. So we'll talk, for instance, about a communist government, right? A communist country like China. Right? China stays somewhat ahead of the curve when it comes to innovation because they have these special economic zones. So they're not solely just communist, right? Yeah, the government at any point, at any time, can intervene and take the data within whatever software company there is. Right? So that's like the big talk, actually in current events, Kyle, this would be a good one. There's an AI company called DeepSeek that runs a very efficient AI generated responses, kind of like ChatGPT, but it runs off a more cheaper version of a semiconductor. It's like a microchip. So it's a lot more efficient, but you're still getting the same output. So this caused a lot of issues with our stock market. Our stock market collapsed big time in the tech sector because China can do it better for, well, just the same, at a less efficient cost. Well, then why would you go in that direction? So it's kind of scary to see where this goes. But the biggest thing with DeepSeek is that the Chinese Communist Party can take that data like that at any moment, at any time. You're always getting watched, right? I mean, anytime you're online, obviously, there might be some eyes on it. Someone's harvesting your data. But in this case, with the government of China, that was kind of alarming. So there you go, Violet. That might be a good current event for you. Yeah. All right. Anyway, these special economic zones, you see Hong Kong, that's a good example, right? They have the free market, entrepreneurship. Again, the Chinese Communist Party can come in at any moment, but this allows them to trade with other countries and innovate and try to keep up with, let's say, the United States when it comes to our innovations of software and technology and products and goods. Does that make sense? All right, one instance, or even just an example you can mention in the United States, is that Disneyland, Disney World, right? Disney World down in Orlando, down in Florida, they had somewhat of a special economic zone too. They kind of did things the way they wanted in their whole community of Florida. Right? They had certain tax exempts because they brought so many businesses in. Does that make sense? They brought in a lot of money. So the state of Florida is like, hey, we'll exempt you for taxes. Just keep bringing all the business in. That's what we want to see. Right? Kind of the same thing with California and Disneyland. Right? They have something similar. Those are examples. Does that make sense? All right. So these economic zones are in many cases different depending on what economic system or country you're in. All right, real quick, essential question. What role should government play in the economy? What do you think? They should have a heavy role, a limited role, or none at all. What do you think, Xavier? Heavy? Okay, so you think the government should be involved heavily. So you're trying to advocate for communism? Is that what you're saying? You said heavy role.
Okay, so not bad.
Okay, all right, so maybe limited. All right, So you're more of a socialist guy. Okay, Zara, limited, all right. Anybody saying none at all? Any pure capitalists in here? Anyone? Anyone? No? Okay, all right, so obviously it depends. There's a lot of politicians, a lot of economists that believe certain things. Some say none at all, if you're heavy capitalist, you wanna see innovation, you wanna see lower prices in goods, but if it's unchecked, there is no government. You might see robber barons, you might see big business elites or monopolies start to form, and no one wants that. So, the United States is actually more of a mixed market economy, right? That's what we are today. That was one of your terms. So we are mostly capitalist, but we do have some social programs within our economy. We have education here, public education, that's an example. We have certain forms of public health care, not a lot, but a little bit, right? So we're not socialists, but we're not fully capitalist either, so we're mixed market. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, moving on. So understanding economics, okay, the biggest thing here is that this is a social science that drives the means of trade and even political decisions. Good example, violent here we go, current events, Trump's tariffs, okay? So yeah, he throws that word around a lot, right? He's been threatening a lot of these countries, especially down in Central South America, with illegal immigration. It's like, hey, if you guys don't take your immigrants back, your people back, right? That is kind of what he said, playing down the United States. If you don't take them back, we're gonna put heavy tariffs on you. And, well, these countries in Central and South America, they fold. They're like, okay. Colombia tried their best last week. I don't know if you heard about it. They tried to hold strong against them, but that folded within a couple hours. They agreed to all the deportations, accepting them, and it is what it is. The reason for it is because the United States is still the biggest economic leader in the world, and whatever they say goes. Okay, and obviously you don't want to cause any issues with this large, massive economy. But anyway, economics plays a massive role, huge role in policy making. You see disputes, issues, concerns, policies being developed around economics all the time. Okay, in certain administrations, they might be a little bit more lenient towards, right, pushing for more capitalist efforts, or let's say pushing for more socialist efforts. Right, so good example, Biden administration, they wanted more regulation, they wanted more government control. Right, and now here at the Trump administration, they want to cut the red tape, so to speak. They want less taxes, so they can bring in more innovation, more business, more people. So it's one of those things where, again, it depends on the administration here in the United States of what kind of market economy we have. All right, so role of the economic systems, okay. One, how much should be produced? In a capital society, that depends. Right? That depends on what kind of supply of a product you have. Right? What kind of demand for a product you have. I always bring up the example of PlayStation 5s. Who has a PS5 in here? Anybody? Xavier? Yeah. At first, they're hard to get your hands on, right? When they first came out, forget it. You couldn't get them, right? Unless you're paying heavily for it. You're paying like $800-900, maybe $1,000 for one, right? Do you want to pay that much? No. But you had to because there was a limited supply, a low supply. Does that make sense? So in a capitalist economy, it fluctuates depending on supply, depending on demand. Right? In a communist society, they set price controls. So they'll set a price control out. That's what you got to pay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. That's a lot of times why you might see a very, very low supply of a product in a communist society. Because what's the incentive of growing more, producing more? There is none, right? There is none. So that's a problem. We'll talk more about it. All right, how goods and services should be produced. So when it comes to certain regulations, they are important to make sure the safety of the consumers thought about, right? So when you're producing goods and materials, let's say food, for instance, you need to make sure it's sanitary, you need to make sure it's clean. You need to make sure you have the expiration date on the package. You need to make sure you have the ideas of calories, right, on there, ingredients, because people have allergies. So that's important to know when it comes to goods and services being produced. Right, so yeah, government does play a good role in our society, in our country nowadays when it comes to that. Right, obviously, there's different directions here and there. Some people might have different disputes, which, Violet, another current event, what was that red dye 40, right? They're banning red 40, yeah. So it's ingredient within foods that contagious, well, carcinogens, right? That obviously can cause a lot of problems. We're going to get rid of that foods. They do it for flavoring, they do it for color, right, within certain cereals. It's like, hey, maybe that's not the best idea. It's literally killing people. So yeah, you maybe mentioned about that, Bob, like, good one. 3, who gets the goods and services that are produced? All right, so capitalist economy, you got more money, you're gonna buy it, you're gonna get it, yeah. But capitalist economy too drives prices lower, brings a higher supply, so everybody can afford these goods. All right, move on. So as we're looking at capitalism, 5 main characteristics. Number 1, private ownership and control of property and economic decisions. So meaning entrepreneurship. You guys ever hear that term before? So entrepreneurship, meaning you have the opportunity. If you're good at something, if you have a talent, if you have a skill, if you have a service to apply to people, then chances are, well, you can make some money off of it. You guys ever see The Dark Knight before?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Joker, what he says? You're good at something, never do it for free. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of truth to that. And in capitalist economy, that's what we see. That's how you make the money. So again, whatever product you can produce, whatever good or service you can apply, right? You make money off it. Again, free enterprise, giving the opportunity for people to create their own businesses. Now more than ever, it's tougher, right? It's tougher because there's a lot of government regulation nowadays. So in other words, this new administration is trying to cut that red tape, cut that regulation. Right, 3, competition among businesses. Right, whenever you see competition, a lot of people are like, yeah, that's great and all. Some people cower away from it. Competition is good for capitalism, right? Good for marketplace, good for the consumer. Can we have that open? More. It's good for the consumer. Why? Well, if you have competition, that means these businesses are trying to develop and create a new, better product. Okay. Good example. Again, you like PlayStation 5, right? Okay. Yari, what do you like? Xbox? You play PlayStation?
Yeah.
Anybody Xbox in here? No? PCs? No? Oh, Zara, okay, good. All right, here we go. So if these companies are competing when it comes to the best gaming console, what do you gotta do? You gotta constantly make new versions of it, right? There's a reason why we didn't stay with the PlayStation 1. There's a reason why we didn't stay with the PlayStation 2. Right? These companies have to always continue to make better, more enhanced products. You guys ever see graphics back in the day? I love how they show like Tom Brady at the start of the season. He's like literally a block character. And then like towards the end of his career, his career, like his end of his career, you can see how amazing the graphics look. It almost looks like it's realistic. And that's what he's doing with capitalism. This is constantly innovating, creating a new product, creating better goods. Anyway, like I was mentioning earlier with that supply and demand, right? PS5s are hard to get your hands on, but add more to the supply to it, those prices will drop lower. All right, freedom of choice. Okay, again, government is not in your face too much, right? Government in capitalist society is back away. Laissez-faire economics, the invisible hand. You guys ever hear that? Okay. All right, possibility of profits. Okay, again, investments, that's important. So if you want to be a successful business, you always have to evolve. You have to adapt. You have to invest in your own products and goods. All right, so economies of the world, real quick. So here's just a look. I know I kind of showed that a little bit with the debt clock. Yeah, I know it shows our debt, but here's our economy compared to everybody else. So yeah, China's up there, but we're still by far when it comes to our economic power, the strongest. Okay, so 28 trillion dollar GDP. Pretty amazing to think about. And that's why Trump utilizes and talks about tariffs quite a bit. Yeah, you hold the purse strings, you can control pretty much whatever you want, right? Funding to other countries, it can be cut off like that, right? So, yeah. All right, here's just another look at it. I put it in a pie chart, so that's kind of neat how to see a representation of it. So here's Asia, as you're looking at Europe. Okay, here's North America, right? So it breaks it down into different regions of the world and just seeing how who has the biggest economy. Yari, what do you think, man? Yeah, okay, yeah. What do you say? All right, Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations. Okay, you guys know a bit about him already. He's the founder of capitalism. He coined the term, get it? Get it? Coined capitalism. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so laissez-faire economics, again, how the people, right, when it comes to the business owner, right, the business owner decides what that profit should be, how much of the supply, the demand, right, obviously depends and fluctuates. So Adam Smith, he's the one who kind of comes along with this idea of capitalism. how industries will compete with one another to deliver the best products to the best services to people. Right? You guys remember going to the malls? Anybody go to malls anymore? Okay, I like going to malls, but now Amazon has pretty much control of everything. People use Amazon for literally everything. Why? Because it's convenient. You can sit at home, you get the products and goods right to your door. Right now, Walmart does the grocery orders where people can just deliver the groceries to your house. Right? Why do these businesses offer these luxuries? Because they want to stay in business. They want you to buy their goods, their groceries, right? Their products. That's why you constantly see this innovation. At one point, malls were the big thing. That's where you went to try to shop for everything you could at one place, at one point. Now you can just do it with a click of a button. So this innovation is good. I do miss the mall stuff. I miss it. I miss the socialization of it. Right, anyways, Adam Smith, there he is. They did great. Good. Okay, next slide here, capitalism. Again, economic system in which factories, equipment, other means of production are privately owned, controlled by the government. Not controlled by the government, sorry, geez. Right, so when we get to communism, we'll talk about that, controlled by everything. The government controls all of it. And that's not good when it comes to innovation. That's not good when it comes to people's standard of living. In other words, the companies work for you, right? They're the ones that are trying to deliver the best for the customer in a capitalist society, right? They're the ones that are trying to deliver you the best product, the best good, at the best reasonable price. Yeah? So think about this with a capitalist economy. It's nice to have all of these pizza shops, yeah? It's the best pizza around here. Done? Xavier, what? Really? Okay. All right. Pizza, anybody? No one likes pizza, really. Harrisburg? Okay, what did you say, Mark? Chow's? You know, I didn't really like Chow. I mean, I didn't mind. It's pizza, right? But I didn't love JoJo's. I like JoJo's. I like JoJo's a lot. I think around here, JoJo's might have the best pie. They have the best fries. Best fries, okay. Olivia, what about you? What do you like? JoJo's? Pizza light size. You know what I really like? Doughboys over in like Halifax. I had their pizza once. That was really good. What's the place in Wood? Papa John's. Papa John, you're going for a chain. Are you serious? They have some really good pizza. I love their garlic. Only you know about that, yeah, I'm sure. Legends. Katie, you ever have Legends? Oh, okay. Sweet sauce? You get sweet sauce? Oh. No, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the curly pizza is so good.
I heard it is good. I need to try it. I heard their buffalo chicken fit good. I like sweet sauce stuff. Sweet sauce like in Google County, it's the best. It's bad. Legends, yeah, amazing. Anyway, so with capitalism, this offers a different variety of food, right? A different variety of pizzas, right? And you like their unique taste, let's face it. You like Papa John's, okay, it's more of a chain, but I get it, right? That is, again, some of the best pizza you can ask for when it comes to a chain. I like Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, anybody? Yeah, I like Pizza Hut. No, strictly Papa John's. Yeah, the breadsticks are good. Yeah? Oh, Pizza Hut? Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, if you think about it, guys, when it comes to capitalism, one of the dangers of it, which I wanted to talk about some of the negatives, I've been talking about all the positives. One of the negatives is that, well, if it's unchecked, if there's no government regulation, we might actually have one business, let's say, or one pizza shop, if they gain a lot of capital. Let's say this chain here that Katie likes, Papa John's. Let's face it, they're a bigger company, they're a bigger business than, let's say, Sciano's or Joe's. They're just way bigger. There's so many of them. It's a massive change. The problem with capitalism, especially in the early 1900s, when there's no regulation, no government involved, is that Papa John's, could they easily just buy up all the pizza shops in this valley? Yeah, they could. They easily could, right? There's a reason why they don't, because they need to make sure that there is competition in the marketplace, right? Papa John's is a massive chain. It's a nationally known chain. You see commercials all the time, especially with Super Bowl coming up. I guarantee you'll see one, Papa John's. Anyway, with that, they could buy up literally all the pizza shops here if they want, right? The problem with that, though, is that, let's say if this was unchecked, right? Let's say if there was no government involvement. Can you imagine if JoJo's just went away and there's Papa John's? Sciano's went away and there's a Papa John's. That's awesome. No, it's not. No, it's not. They lose their business. You lose a unique taste, the variety of food that you love for so long, it's gone. Also, what could Papa John's do with the price of their pizzas? There's only one place in town now. Yeah, they can increase it. So yeah, that doesn't sound awesome, does it? If you want to pay $50 for a pizza, a pie? No, you don't. You don't. So just always trying to be the devil advocate over here. All right, so in other words, right, that if it's unchecked, could lead to a lot of problems. And that's what happened here early on in 1900s with the United States. Until Teddy Roosevelt, a progressive president, stepped in and said, hey, we need to try to control these corporations so we don't see monopolies, right? That would be a monopoly. They buy up all their competition. Then they can set the prices to whatever they want. They can pay their workers whatever they want. So that's the only place in town. Does that make sense? All right. So there's capitalism. We'll talk about some of these other economic theories tomorrow. Real quick, supply demand. I already mentioned about it with the PS5. At first, it was hard to get your hands on. Right? Kai?
Yes, sir.
You have PlayStation 5?
No,
He is an Xbox guy. Here he is. Here he is.
what's up, George?
So the PlayStation 5 again, hard to get your hands on. That's why it was so expensive. Then you got these third-party buyers, and people would buy them for, let's say, $5 they could get their hands on, and then they try to sell for 800. It's like, what? You can't do that. Come
My
on.
parents got mine for
What?
$950.
What's that?
My parents got mine for $950.
$950.
That's when it
Jeez.
first came out.
But you really wanted it, right? Your demand for it was high, and that determines price. That's a good example, right? Mine, well, my demand for it was high, but I wasn't willing to spend over, 500, $600. No way. So in other words, I waited it out, but yeah, I had to wait until that supply came up. I had to wait till that PS5 supply came up, until they had more available for people, which they later did. And then I could buy it at a reasonable price because the supply was higher. Does that make sense with supply, demand, and pricing? So higher supply of a product, what happens to the price?
It goes down.
It goes down. You have a high demand of a price, or a high demand for a product or good, what happens to the price? It goes up, right? So in other words, demand, supply, that all results in the lower or high prices. Right, I'm gonna leave off there just because, man, we got into it. I'm gonna try to finish up some of these economic theories tomorrow. Whatever time we have left, you guys can work on your projects. Hopefully you guys got a good start. We're presenting them on Friday. You already got that? I don't think you were here when I was talking about it. So we're gonna have these presentations on Friday after Violet's current event. Can't wait. Can't wait. Hold on one second, Xavier. Let me end this.